I'm going to give you a video of what I think is a good way to find a real true homeopath who can help you. We'll do it for animals. There's other ways to do it, other sites to do it for humans, but we'll do it for animals because I'm going to assume you're going to want to get somebody treated who's already got rabies miasm or some other chronic thing. So the place to start is my recommended resources page. I've got it open here. You can also get there by going to Start Here, and you'll see a link to that. If you scroll down a little bit, there it is. So recommended resources, I've compiled a lot of stuff, books and whatnot. And you scroll down and you look for homeopathy. So I think it's a fair ways down.
It's 5 o'clock.
That's flea control, some stuff, some books and periodicals. Okay, so sources of holistic veterinarians. The Academy of Veterinary Homeopathy is the place I would recommend you go if you're in North America. This one, if you're outside this continent, will give you the international guys. I'm more familiar with this because this is where I am, and this is where all the North American ones sign up. The caution is you can call yourself a homeopathic vet and not really be trained in homeopathy. So it's a lot like holistic. It's a self-assigned label. So I want to find you somebody who's good, and we'll click on the link. VAVH.org is the site. We're going to go to find somebody. Find a vet, okay, right up there. And when we click on that, you've got to read some things about, each practitioner does things somewhat differently, etc. Many have completed extensive training for certification. Some are just members here, and they're not practicing much homeopathy, so they're kind of here in name only. So read through that, and then agree and proceed. And the trouble is now they've got a map. How interesting. So these are looks like the East Coast is pretty well set for homeopaths, but again, if you blew this up, we're quite spread out. There's not a lot of us. Well, this has all changed since I've been here lately. So what we want to do is a search. And we want to search by usually location, unless you're near somebody. You can start with location and see if somebody's near you. But there are two things that I want to know. I want to know everybody who's practicing mostly or only homeopathy. So go to that drop-down menu, and I would say start with 75% or more. If you're a purist like me, you do 100%, but that's good enough. That means they're quite involved with homeopathy. They're keeping up with it. And normally I can cross that, I think, with phone consultations because you may not have someone near you. But let's look. It's changed since I've seen this. So this is everybody who does mostly or only homeopathy. You see the dots got fewer. But then let's go to phone consultations because you won't have someone necessarily near. And when we click that and add that, I see now it's giving both. And that got fewer. So then you can scroll down and see these people. These are all colleagues of mine. What it means is they're people who are, they're both feet in the same canoe. They're doing homeopathy mostly. All these people are that way. And they also do phone consulting. So that means they're, whether they're at a distance or not. Oh, I'm out of here now. That's right. I must not have renewed my dues or something. But anyway, any of these people would work long distance with you. And of course, there are others who aren't on the AVH list. But this is a good place to start. So then what you can do is, click on one, and it'll bring up their phone number and their maybe where they are on the map, it looks like, yeah. And what they do for species, the percent that they do, and they do phone consults. And then you can do a little interview process. You know, you can go to Barbara's website and you can call Barbara, or you can send her a message and see, you know, what sort of practice, if they fit your needs. Generally, this group, the ones who do a high amount of homeopathy and the ones who are visible by phone, will both those variables will serve you best. If you're lucky enough to have a homeopathic vet who does mostly homeopathy near you, go for it. We're just too few to be usually in everybody's city. So that's it. And generally, you know, you might have to go through a few people to find somebody that you feel good about. You're going to spend a lot of time with a homeopathic vet. A typical intake is a good hour, where they're asking you all sorts of questions about your animal, not just what the chief complaint is, but they need to know, does this animal prefer to be warm or cold? Does this animal drink a lot or rarely drink, or drink normally? You know, how is she with strangers coming into the house? Will she go up and bite their ankles or jump in their lap and lick them all over? All those things help a homeopath know where to get started. We're looking at a constitutional picture, trying to prescribe for the whole dog or the whole cat, and looking for remedies that will choose what are we going to start with. It's a process. We start with a remedy that looks like a good fit. Maybe your animal has got you know, rabies behavior in a recent vaccinated animal. They'll probably look for a remedy that's got some strange behaviors in it. Give a dose or several doses, and then stand back and say, let's watch what happens. And we'll go back to, we'll rejoin this conversation, whether it's on the phone or it's on the, you know, in person, and evaluate what changed. So the second visit is an important one. You keep a diary in between so you can tell what changed. This symptom got better. That one didn't really shift at all. And hey, this new symptom seemed to pop up. I haven't seen it for 4 years, but I remember it. It was an old symptom, kind of went away when I gave a drug or something. Came back. So the homeopath then uses all that information to help decide what the next step is. So that's how you do it. And all the best of luck. If you want a human homeopath, let's see if I can find it real quick. There is a site called homeopathic.org, which is the National Center for Homeopathy. They're a good clearinghouse for all things homeopathy. And probably in their resources there's Find a Homeopath. In the human world, it's even more likely that you can find people calling themselves a homeopath who aren't really doing good homeopathy. They're doing combination remedies, or they're ill-defining homeopathy, that sort of thing. But they'll give you directions here how to choose one, how to find them using their practitioner directory. I haven't been there for a while, but you can explore that. You can also, while you're in the group, just post that I'm looking for a human homeopath for me or my mom or whatever. And after you've done your search, you can drop in a couple of names. What do you think about these folks? Do you recognize any of them? I know a fair number of human homeopaths, some people that are in high regard, and many more I don't really know very well. So I can help you sort through that and just get a sense of who might be a good one. In general, I like a homeopath who's an MD also, just because they've had that training of, more pathology, and they know more, just got a good background in being a practitioner, and then they decided to take that learning and dive in again and learn homeopathy, which is a whole different science. So it looks like you can choose, you'd want to go for practitioners. If you know somebody, you can enter their name. You can, locate them by state. Here again, do they consult by phone? Do they do it online? Do they do animal consulting? That sort of thing. So just searching without anything other than practitioners, you've got 328 results. You obviously want to pare that down. So that's the idea. Hope that's helpful to you.